It's time for your Talk Time Live exclusive.
You are now about to witness the strength of geek knowledge.
Folks, our next guest is back for her fourth appearance, technically her fifth if you count the Repop Naruto trivia panel that we did in 2021. Love that, by the way. She is the Emmy award-winning actor behind some of your favorite animated and live-action characters, such as Principal Perry from Lab Rats, Brian, Amy, and Morgan on The Loud House, Pinky Whitehead on Harriet the Spy, Carlotta Lindell in Tiger and Bunny 2, Piggly in the award-winning series Jakers, The Adventures of Piggly, and of course, the legendary voice of Naruto Uzumaki. She is the one and only Maile Flanagan, here to talk about what she's been up to, including her latest role as Tina in one of my favorite comedy series this year on ABC, Not Dead Yet, as well as upcoming comedy animated series called Royal Crackers, premiering April 2nd on Adult Swim, with the first 3 episodes available and streaming next day on HBO. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Maile, to Talk Time Live. How you going?
Hey, I'm great, Dax. It's great to see you. Thank you for asking me to be here. I'm super excited. I got a lot of new stuff coming up, and I'm headed out tomorrow to Chicago.
Whew.
And I'll be in, I don't know where, Texas, Huntsville, South Carolina, then Huntsville, and eventually I'll make it to your neck of the woods there in Philly.
Looking forward to it. So we got a lot to talk about because we got a lot to celebrate on this show, and this is all about celebrating you and what you've been accomplishing throughout we've been talking nonstop. But on that, you just been on a tear like crazy. I mean, before we even get to Royal Crackers, let's talk about the new ABC hit TV show that is, if you're looking at this now, it's like Wednesday here. So today is what I call Tina Day.
It is. Unfortunately, tonight, they're not airing an episode, but it'll resume again next week. I don't know. I'm not sure why, but I think maybe it's something related to sports. I don't know. I mean,
it probably is.
But it'll be on next Wednesday. But in the meantime, you can check out all of them, catch up on them. Hulu, and I think actually on the ABC website itself,
yes,
there's quotes of the episodes as well.
That is correct.
If you don't have Hulu.
So let's talk about this show. I love this show to high hell. It is a very funny, entertaining show. I love the cast. I mean, you played the character Tina in the series Not Dead Yet, starring Gina Rodriguez, and a host of other actors that I love from other series like New Girl, Superstore, and just more. Yeah. Loved them. Tina,
they're so great.
Yeah, they're awesome. Tina, your character comes off as a sweet, awkwardly goofy character that randomly appears throughout the first season. Like, can you talk about how this opportunity came about?
Yeah, well, the writers of this, who are also writers on This Is Us, among other things, wrote a pilot for me a couple years ago that got put off for a while, but we finally did it during COVID. It was put off for months. But, and in that script, I went all the way to network. I was a series regular, and I had a character named Joy, and a very similar character at that. So we shot the pilot, but I think because of a lot of circumstances, mostly just COVID related stuff, they didn't pick up the pilot. So that was, must have been 2001 in December. Right. So cut to like August 2002, I get a call from my agent, and they were like, we have a part for you on this new show. It's starring Gina Rodriguez and all these other great people. And it's very funny. It's the same executive producer team.
That's awesome.
ABC. And so some of the people are the same. Like a bunch of the kind of crew people are the same. Not everybody's the same.
Right.
They also have different directors often. With one kind of overseeing executive producer director who did Parks and Rec, Dean Holland.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, the credits of the directors are stunning, and
it shows. I mean, I'm entertained every week. Yeah. Me and S, my wife, asked her, like, we watched it every week, and it's just the things that goes on in that show, especially when it pertains to you, is just hilarious, but also heartwarming too. And I love that. I love the fact that there is a heartwarming story to it. There's usually a thesis, a body and conclusion to the show. And it always ends with you just loving every character in their development so far.
Yeah, and they all have different things, being selfish, one of them. But anyway, the producers just said to me, look, and my agent, they're like, it's going to start out super small. You don't even have any lines in the first episode, but it's going to grow and you'll be a recurring guest star. So
right.
That's what happened. So I think I did about 8 out of 13 since we're a mid-season replacement. We did 13. We're waiting to hear if we get a second season pickup. So I think 7 episodes have aired, and of those I've been in about maybe 5, but some I don't have a big part, but I think it's a funny part, and it's impactful.
See, here's my theory.
In the office.
Yeah, here's my theory about your role in it. I think it's significant in a very important way because when you make your mark in there, it is unforgettable. Yeah. The things that you've done in these episodes have been nonstop funny, and you won't forget it when you see it. In particular, the last new episode that they showed had you very worried about you getting fired. So your decision and your method is to just take whatever you can from other places. Yeah. Including the water cooler.
Yeah, the water cooler was a good one.
You just can't forget stuff like that. And I think that type of character is always very significant and awesome to see because it's like it breaks away from the actual storyline at the same time. And it's just like, oh, my God, that just happened.
Yeah, well, it's a very heartfelt show. But then I get to come in, me and several others, and just deliver some funny zinger lines, which are all credit to the writers. But then, like everybody, because it's just funny. And Gina is lovely. Hannah, Lauren, Josh, like they're all lovely.
Yeah.
Oddly, I haven't really worked with 2 of the other series regulars, and only sometimes do I work with the guest stars who are always dead people. That's
right.
The show. Gina's character writes obituaries.
Right.
And I am the longtime reporter at the newspaper who covers crime and community kind of.
Oh, so you got skeletons.
I think I got a lot on a lot of people.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't know what's to come. I just really hope that they give this show a chance. It's done really well, and I hope they really give it a full pickup because I think it gets better and better, and you get invested in the characers.
To me, it's gotten some really great reviews on it so far. I'm hoping that it does because I feel like for me, I have a really judge of, comedy that I watch because, comedy calms me in the best way. And I'm not being biased because we know each other and we're friends and everything, but like it really is.
Taste, though, I think, you and me.
Exactly.
You're more into the superhero stuff. I'm not into that too much, but.
Well, fine then.
Are we breaking it up?
We have our clash.
Don't get excited about the new Marvel picture, I mean, I'd be excited about it in it.
At least the trailer. Just give me the trailer.
Oh, I'm fine with that. I'm not saying I don't like it when I get in the seats. It's not the type of humor, the kind of movies that I am particularly drawn to.
Right. You're the Apple TV person. I'm the Disney Plus.
Well, I've been Lab Rats for 5 years. I have watched my share.
Right.
Programming and been in it. And of course, not originally, but Naruto did start on the second.
That is true. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So it was on Disney XD for a while.
Which means it was edited heavily.
I guess, yeah. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. There are some, now that they show it late on Adult Swim, there's some stuff that I'm kind of surprised is even in there.
Mm-hmm.
For Naruto. The last episode I watched, like last Saturday or before,
yeah.
I was like, this is dark, man. It's super dark.
It would never see the light. I'm pretty sure when it was on Disney XD, it was like there were some missing episodes.
Well, yeah, they kind of cut out They cut out a lot of the sexy stuff, and of course.
Oh yeah, sexy jutsu was not in there. Yeah. How did they cover that one?
I don't know. I'd have to watch one of those. But now they don't care. I mean, they don't care. We're on Boruto, and it's like, wait, do I need to substitute this word? So, like, for instance, Jiraiya, who is also known as Pervy Sage. Like, I had to do all his lines twice because we weren't allowed to say Pervy Sage.
What was the substitute?
It was the old man.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's lenient.
There were a lot of things like that. Like, for a while, we couldn't say, like, I'm going to kill you. It'd be like, I'm going to harm you. I mean,
Really?
yeah, but for those we did like doubles of every line, so that on the box set you would get what was originally translated, and
Right.
and then Disney had the more modified, friendly version.
Gotta love Disney.
Yeah. Oh, hey, they're a great company to work for.
It truly is. I mean, I've never worked for them before, but look, just going to Disney parks or whatever like that, I so admire the way that they establish them. I wish other companies would do what they do, or they teach seminars or whatever for stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and what they did with today, with the parks, like Ron DeSantis tried to take over their board in Florida, and they found a loophole, and they're like, "Ain't gonna happen." And I'm like, "That's so awesome!" Like, you can't have like government running a theme park,
Right? He is such a Disney villain. He is the perfect Disney villain.
I hope, there's some stuff, like, not to jump ahead, but I've done some characters where they end up making them look a little bit like me or a lot more. And you can tell when animators put that in there, right? They flip it in. Or the other thing is, which we used to do all the time on a lot of Nickelodeon shows, is if you had like one big part or two kind of big parts, and then you had to do just a woman.
Right.
Or a man, just a man.
Right.
You would do it as Johnny Carson, or as Snoop Dogg, or as Hillary Clinton, or as whoever. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Listen, kids won't recognize it so much, especially the old time stuff.
Right.
But it's like, I'm going to do it and sound exactly like, think of someone, Barbara Walters, some of distinct sounds. And it's just our little joke.
So, on top of, being on Not Dead Yet, you are a part of a hit primetime series, or you will be a part of a hit show, because there's been a lot of great reviews on this show already. And congratulations is in order, because just recently we got news that a show that's about to come out on Adult Swim has already got its second season before it ever even come out in a premiere. I've never heard of such a thing in my life. Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you. It happened to Abbott Elementary, actually, before their first season was done. They were picked up.
Before the first season was done, but you guys haven't even premiered yet.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. No, it was shocking, and I'll let you know the truth. I went in and recorded, yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. And, it was like episode 208 or something. That's 8 episodes in. So
wow.
We have worked on it. We kind of do it, sometimes we'll do it out of order. So, and I don't know, in fact, with Not Dead Yet, it also airs out of order. So I might think it's the 8th episode of the first season. Whereas when I did it, it was supposed to be they aired as the 3rd, and I did it and I thought it was the 8th or 9th episode.
Right.
Yeah. So we don't know that stuff till it comes out.
Right. So Royal Crackers is coming April 2nd, as we mentioned before. And a lot of people haven't seen, there are people who have seen the first episode. I actually sneak peeked it myself. It is hilarious.
Yeah.
But for those who have not, can you explain what this show is about, and why is it worth checking out, and why did it already get a second season already?
Well, first of all, it's definitely on Adult Swim. It's got that.
Yes. It's safe to say.
There's some swearing. There's some graphic stuff. There's a lot of not even innuendo. It's just out there. It's about this family that owns this cracker empire, and grandfather, who's it's like a very low class Succession.
Yes. Oh, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. And I never heard until I did press for it the other day, and people kept saying that, and I realized, the creator actually did. He never had told me that, but it kind of. They did want to kind of echo Succession a little bit,
right?
That way. But it's about the family, and they're still a family, but they're hideous, awful people. And the grandfather ends up he ends up in a coma, and the family is still a unit, but the cracker company is struggling. They're all fighting each other to see who will run it when the grandpa dies. And in the meantime, they encounter all these wackadoodle characters, and it's sort of, to me, it's like a throwback to, when Beavis and Butthead and South Park came out.
Yeah.
South Park was jaw-dropping in its audacity. Like,
yes, it was. Still, it technically still is in a sense.
It technically is, but I think because of, honestly, like HBO and even stuff like Adult Swim, it's just like, there's a lot more stuff that's a lot more out there. And this show is way out there. So in a way, it reminds me of a 20-year ago kind of adult comic.
Well,
in a way, it's super fresh.
The character design alone takes me back to the beginning of Adult Swim era when you had the Dr. Katz show, and
which my sister worked for that company. She and I keep reminding myself to call her and tell her. I'm sure she'll look at it, but I didn't even know if she has cable. But but I think she has HBO. So, but yeah, it's kind of done in that style. What I have to do is research if some of those animators came from that world, because it's Squiggle Vision, and my sister, there was like an educational division, and then there was a entertainment division. My sister was at the top of like the educational division. So they did that style, but to teach people things.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's kind of a cool thing for me.
But you also played a character, Matt. What can we expect from that character?
He's slow. He's like a jellyfish or a manatee, just kind of floating through. He's probably, I think, got more heart than anyone in the family.
Right.
But in every way, he's kind of slow and plodding and not that sharp, but also knows a little more than you think. But he's just, there's a lot of high energy characters, and he's the opposite of that.
Right.
But he does get excitable. Like I just did an episode where, I've done some where he blows his lid a little bit. So, yeah.
I would have to after dealing with that family. I'm pretty sure you would have to eventually.
Yeah. I mean, you can't just plug along forever.
Right. Exactly. So, we've been, we talk all pretty often, via text or whatever like that. But, we've also been through a lot the last 3 years. But the one thing that you have been up and doing again is getting on the road and being back on tour to conventions and everything. How does it feel to be back going on the road and such?
It feels really gratifying, a little weird. At first, it was really frightening, and I left my mask on until I went to Dublin, which was I just got back, not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before. Really, Wednesday I got back.
Right.
And I got COVID.
Bless your heart.
I'm convinced it was very mild. I've had it before. I'm boosted and vaxxed, and I think it helped. But I did have to stay home. And although I did work. I did work from home a little bit and audition for sure.
Right.
But, so, and I didn't wear my mask in Dublin because statistically it was safer. And it wasn't a very big convention. So, and it wasn't super crowded. It was very
right.
safe. Now I'm going to Chicago to C2E2 tomorrow.
Oh yeah. That's going to be like C2E2. Like I've mentioned before, like C2E2 is Repop's second biggest convention that they have aside from New York Comic Con. It's going to be huge.
It will be. I've never been to it. I know people kill to get tickets just to go to it.
It's exactly the same as New York Comic Con. If you've been to that one, it's packed. It's going to be packed.
I don't think I've been to New York Comic. I went to Anime New York or New York Anime.
It's in that realm, and it's in it. Well, Anime New York is in that same realm because it's in the Javits Center as well. So they do have, I don't know what capacity it is, but yeah, it is. You're packing that amount of people.
Yeah. And the capacity in Dublin was really only, it was the biggest venue they could get in Dublin, and they moved to that venue, but it was still like the sellout was only they sold out in advance. The sellout was like only 9,000 people in capacity each day.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a big difference. And it was very spaced out, like I said. So C2E2 will be interesting. I think I'll be very, very busy. I hope. Knock on wood.
I will not be speaking to you for any time soon.
No. And, I wear a mask on the plane.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, I'm not blaming the convention, but I think I got it in the lounge when I was in the airport lounge. Like, I took it off. I ate some food. I had a drink, So we'll see what happens with Chicago. I don't know.
My desk here is made of wood, so here you go. I'm not kidding on it.
Yeah, I moved moved into the bedroom with a small table to make it a little quieter here, but I enjoyed it as well. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm really looking forward to it, and I actually see some of the panels. I was looking at it today briefly, and I was like, I want to go see some of these.
Yeah, that's the thing with these big cons. It's like, you got to strategize. I remember going to San Diego for the first time. I didn't know what to expect. I had to be trained. I had to take courses. It's like going into the Cheesecake Factory and having to, study the actual menu. It's kind of what that training.
You can split with a friend.
Exactly. It's kind of like that. You got to strategize with, panel that you're going to go to, because it's, you're not going to be able to see everything.
No, and I rarely go see stuff. Like, I will see a band or something like that. But in Corpus Christi, I had, again, it was a bit smaller, but it was still, I think, 22,000 people, maybe a little more. Mm-hmm. But I actually had time, and I got to see these amazing harpists with these drummers. And I'm able to come in the back. So I just sneak in the back and just stand in the back.
Right.
Or backstage. And, but I kind of don't think at C2E2 I'm going to have that opportunity. But maybe.
We'll see. We'll see. You're getting your feet wet in this one.
Yeah. And then I'm off to WeebCon, which is in Gaylord, Texas. Mm-hmm. April is crazy. I don't think I've been busier in a month of conventions. So then I come back from Gaylord and I go to South Carolina Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. Then I come back and I go to Huntsville, Alabama.
Jesus.
And I have at least 18 cons this year and a couple of signings at like warehouses, or they'll fly me in like
right.
One's in Miami, I know for sure.
But that's what I was saying. You've been on a tear. Like, soon as like 2022 hit and we got out, you left out, and you've been from con to con to con. And I'm like, I couldn't be more happier for you, because we went through a lot of hell. 2020 and 2021. Like, and credit to you and credit to Lisa, for what you were able to do during that time. Like, we haven't gotten together like this since, like I said, the Repop Naruto trivia panel, which they set up. And I loved that, what they did with that. And I was with you and, your cast, and Yuri Lowenthal and who else was with us? There were two more people, right? Mary Elizabeth McGlynn was the other one. And Kate, I think Steve Blue. Yes.
For a while.
It was Kate, definitely. Yeah. And that was a hell of a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. But before that, it was 2020 and we were doing the virtual panel for RDC World's DreamCom, because they couldn't have their convention at the time either. Yeah. And somehow, some way, you guys, came about putting that together. A lot of people don't know that when I hosted that, it was you two that decided to I would host that, and this was the first ever video stream. Like, you don't understand. You're the reason. You give credit to Lisa too, and I owe her too. But you guys are the reason why I'm doing these video interviews today, because I wanted to do video interviews before, but I never got my feet wet, and you guys gave me that opportunity. Yeah. And I was like, lo and behold, I'm not messing up this opportunity. I'm not denying this. I'm going for it. I'm going to learn what we need to do.
You do a good job. Secondly, you know your stuff and you do your research. So I would say that hats off to you, because you did your research. You know your stuff. You're a fan too, which also helps.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised when you do press with a lot of people, like I did the other day. Some of them were like, wow, dude, you didn't even read the one sheet, like, at all, but the geeky guys did.
Right.
And all the websites that were kind of geeky websites did. Although, we did CNN, we did everything. So it's supposed to come out now, today or yesterday, but anyway.
Right.
But yeah, credit to you, because, you jump right in and no holds barred. You pulled it off. So that was
thank you so much. Thank both of you for that. I mean, it was a great opportunity. It was a lot of fun, but most of all, what I loved about that panel was the significance of that panel. And, it was 2020. We were going through the pandemic, all types of craziness going on, with that. And then on top of that, us, in a black community, we're going through a lot of hell too, with everything that was going on during that time. The George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, passings and deaths that happened, and our mental state was such at a place. So when I saw that, it was RDC Worlds, deal that they were working with, and which means they have a predominantly black fan base that are also fans of Naruto.
Oh yeah, I mean and the guys, there are like 9 of them or something. And
yes,
a couple of women, but all 9 of those guys are African American, maybe.
Yes,
and then the couple of women that also work on it, sort of at the high level, and it's all volunteers. They're not; they do it because they're fans. They were people of color. Like, I don't remember, but it was definitely. And then I did one.
Oh yeah, they're all of them.
Yeah. And then I did one where I actually appeared at the convention. They set up a thing like this, and people would come in every 2-3 minutes, and I would talk to them. And so, yeah, it was awesome. Fun. And I would say the majority definitely was African American people.
Yeah, I mean, and it was just like that. It was predominantly in our virtual panel. It was too, and I highly recommend everybody to go on to talktimelive.com and watch that panel. It was just so awesome. What made it really great for me was that during that, with everything that was going on, for you guys to do what you did and to see the looks on their faces during that time, and you naming names of certain people, and it looks, you could go back and watch that panel and see the looks at some of their faces when they light up because you mentioned their name. It was so beautiful. It was such a great experience. It was such an honor for me to do that and it was the right time. I mean, again, thank you and Lisa for that opportunity. I'll never forget it, but like, I'm glad that we got through it. I'm glad that you're able to do what you're doing, and well deserved on both sides.
I actually, in all honesty, I started a lot of those schedules because I hit it so hard because they've been rescheduled. Yeah, some of them twice. So that's why I started doing a lot of them, because I had to be rescheduled from 2 years previous. Yeah. Or 1 year previous. So I ended up with a lot more conventions than I would have gone on. And then I got that role on Not Dead Yet. Plus I'm still doing Boruto. Plus I'd gotten Royal Crackers, and I was like, oh my God, this is never going to work out. And it all worked.
It's a great problem to have.
It all worked out. I think I had to cancel on one. Right. I had to come back like a day early on a fan expo in San Francisco, I think. Yeah.
That is truly awesome.
I'm already booked for 2024.
Oh my God.
I don't know, 15 bookings at least, 16, 18.
Color me not surprised at all.
Well, I got a lot of frequent flyer miles. That's
yes, you do. Yeah. So, got a few more questions for you. Then I got some quick questions for you to try to test your instincts here. But before I do that, I just want to say thank you again. You're absolutely awesome. You've been such a great friend. You and Lisa have been like just one of the best people. The term friend has been given off too loosely these days. Yeah. I feel like the term friend needs to be earned, and you guys earned it immensely.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, just absolutely thank you for that. But let's get on with the fact that you didn't, we're friends, and you just don't tell me everything. And I don't know how to feel about that, because here I am, me, the anime fan that I am. I go on to Netflix. I check out a show called Tiger and Bunny.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, there's the sequel to that, Tiger and Bunny 2, which I love. And for those who don't know, Tiger and Bunny, if you love superheroes and anime, it's both of that, but it's superheroes in a situational type of, deal where they're in a reality show competition. Yeah. And that's the basis of it. And they actually got legit sponsorships and everything, like Pepsi and Coca-Cola and everything. It's crazy. But there's this character, Carlotta Lindell, in there, and I'm listening to this, and because I know you so well, and the more actors that I know and I frequent on a normal basis, when I hear their voices and I don't know, and I recognize it, it blings on me. Your voice is a can't miss. And I was like, I know she's not doing this darn character, and didn't tell me.
So at the studio where I record a lot of Naruto, there's a producer there that works a lot on video games, Naruto video games, but he works on every kind of video game, like a lot of video games, not just that franchise, many famous ones. So he said, Maile, man, he goes, will you come in and do this character? He goes, I have to cast all these people, and And he goes, I think you're just perfect for the character. And I know you could do it and you'll be funny. Will you come in and do a couple episodes? And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. You know, I don't do a lot of anime, but this was a game. And it's not that I don't want to, but my agents aren't crazy about it because it doesn't pay that great.
Right.
Compared to original animation.
Right.
Which isn't to say that, you know, because we're out there, but we hustle. But
right.
So, like, there's no residuals or anything. And it's a scale hourly rate.
One of the things I've definitely learned from interviewing all of you.
Oh, yeah. But that's why we do conventions, partially.
Yeah.
To meet the people, but also it kind of makes up for the popularity being so popular, and yet we're not really compensated in the way that we probably should be.
Which I hope that changes in the years to come.
Yeah. So I said, okay, sure. Yeah, I go in. It's like a couple episodes. Then he calls me back. He said, the first season this aired, like, I don't know, maybe, you know, but was it 12 or 20 years ago? Or
something around that range. It's been a long time. And I was very surprised when they even, you know, did that. And they and Netflix bought the license and rights to that show. And
it's like, what I did was super funny. Full disclosure, I've not actually watched a whole episode. Oops.
Right.
Turned off my volume, darn it. But so he asked me to do it, and then he calls me back, and he's like, "We got more to do." And then I looked on IMDb just the other day, and I was like, "I did how many of these?" Because I didn't think I did. But I also told Joe, I said, "Well, no wonder you thought of me. I look like the character."
Right. You do.
And I sound like the character, and I'm super harsh. Like the character. And I was like, well, Joe, you know, you picked the right gal because, you know.
You talk with an exclamation mark almost every time.
It was really fun to do. I do look forward to watching it. I haven't yet. I haven't had the time.
It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. And you're in addition to it, that actually makes me feel a lot more happier to watch it now, because it's like, I love this show. I love the premise of the show. And then you're in it too. So this is like, oh, happy birthday to me.
And it's a short running series. It's not like Naruto.
Yeah. But it's also like a really cool situational, you know, it's believe it or not, it's a very sophisticated, you know, storyline with that.
Yeah.
I love the way it carries itself, almost like a primetime series in a sense. And the idea that these superheroes are going through real world situations along with being in a reality show competition where they got to save. It's quirky, but really cool.
They need comforting. They need guidance. It's
right.
Sort of like, you know, when, I mean, you know, I don't.
They don't have it all. They don't have it all together.
Yeah, and I would say that people in those reality shows, they pick the ones that are vulnerable because it makes for great TV. Exactly.
So I got one more main question, Naruto related, and then we're going to go to the quick question. So here we go. We, you know, lately, especially when we talk about Netflix here, they're buying up a lot of licenses to create live action versions of some of our favorite anime. And I'm figuring like sooner or later it's bound to happen. But in your opinion, you being the Hokage and everything, are we ready to see a live action Naruto film?
I think we're ready. I don't think anyone's ready to make it.
I like that.
It's overwhelming. And
yeah.
I have gotten calls over the years, and I'm not kidding, like whispered phone calls.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Maile, like I work for this guy who's the VP of somewhere, and they're talking about doing this movie. I've heard those rumors for years from 3 or 4 different companies. People have called and picked my brain. I wasn't allowed to talk about it.
Right.
And I would just do it as favors. A couple people I knew, a couple people were referred by people I knew.
Yeah.
I don't think they have I don't know who they'll get to make such a huge franchise into a movie. And I think the problem is then they really have to think about is 4 movies.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Something like that. So that's a lot of money too. That's a lot of money. Special.
But if they do it right, if it comes back and they can build on it. The movies that I saw that were based on some of our favorite animes like Bleach or Full Metal Alchemist or something like that. The problem that I've always seen is that they try to condense so much into an hour and a half or 2 hours. You cannot do that. No. You need to chop it up. Like you said, like 4 tales. Like some of that was like the special effects were great. The portrayals were great. They felt like the characters, but the story felt rushed.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm afraid of. They cannot do that to Naruto. I swear to goodness, because Naruto to me is the Spider-Man of anime. They need to get that right.
I like that. I've never heard that, but I like that.
I usually consider Goku is the Superman of anime and Naruto is the Spider-Man, because Goku is the really strong, character that can pretty much just do everything, can get through anything. Naruto has like heart. And he's humanistic, but he has this ability to, and try to be responsible and wants to prove himself to everybody. Like Goku doesn't have to prove himself to anybody. Naruto does. And that gives him more dimension. And that's the same thing. That's exactly what Peter Parker is to Spider-Man. And
I think, importantly, like, I think they have to pick the right people to do it. So I think that's a challenge. But I'll tell you something. I just had this idea just now, so don't think I've thought about it. I haven't. But I was just thinking, who will probably do it is some director and somebody like the Daniels behind Everywhere. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
They can definitely pull it off.
A monster. And they made it work, and it was interesting, and it was confusing, and you couldn't wait to see what happened. It was a little long. But
I was engaged.
I was engaged the whole time. And I loved it. The performances are great. I'm wondering, like, is it going to take that sort of, maybe it's a Korean director sensibility, because they seem to be like, very prominent right now.
Right.
Or coming to prominence to Americans anyway.
Right.
And of course it's Asian. It's Asian. So,
right.
They want to see, obviously they're not going to see me. Hopefully I'll be a peasant in the background with vegetables or something.
I think it'll be best for you to make a appropriate cameo appearance in there somehow. And I'm telling you, my vision of that, if they're gonna, because here's the thing that you don't remember. I don't know if you recognize, or because you're recording Boruto at the moment, so I don't know if you realize that, like, it's multicultural in that cast now. So in a lot of ways, you can get in there, and I would love to see you serve you be in the ramen shop.
For sure.
And having the Naruto character argue with you about, there's not enough fish cakes in Naruto.
Or maybe they're watching TV and I come on, and a reporter. I'm a reporter, maybe.
That would be cool too.
Something, but
or you're a ninja stealing water coolers.
That's right. Cast done. Let's do it.
But that would be awesome. And WB Japan is normally good on, working those live adaptations. So I would love to see it. But definitely, if that happens, there's no way in hell they need to get you in the original actor for Japan to be in there in some form or fashion. The same way that because we're seeing that a lot with The Last of Us recently. We saw that. We saw that with Uncharted. Nolan North was on there as well. They paid homage to all these. Like it'd kind of be a crime for them not to add you both to that in some form or fashion.
If it's that big of a feature, which it has to be, as we both know, as everyone knows, you just got to hope there's going to be someone in the crowd. You know how people always put their moms in a movie. You just my buddy Tom McCarthy, who won the Oscar for Spotlight. Like, there's a scene where the reporters are gathered around, and his wife is in there. She's not an actor; she's a poet. But it was just a bunch of people, so she's just one of the actors hovering in one scene only.
Right. Anthony Anderson does that with his mom all the time.
Yeah. What's his name? I can't remember now.
But yeah, I mean, let's hope that happens. I just want it to be right. It needs to be right.
Yeah. Well, James Gunn puts in his brother Sean Gunn. I know Sean.
Right.
He has a nice part though. But
he has a great part. Like, I mean, he does a lot. He does an incredible lot for that. Yeah. All right. So, are you ready for quick questions? I won't hurt you too bad. I promise that. Maybe.
I'm ready.
All right. Here we go. What live action or animated character do you enjoy playing the most?
That's tough. Naruto's up there. Piggly was up there. Principal Perry was a dream. I was supposed to do one episode. I did like 70.
And transition too. Like, that was awesome.
Not dead yet, because we don't know where she'll go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, looking forward to the future, that's what I'll say. Otherwise, it's pretty neck and neck for those other characters.
Yeah. I'll accept that. If you had a choice, If you had to, let me put it like this. If you had to choose one that you would be your partner in crime, who would be a better partner in crime for you? Principal Perry or Tina?
Oh, Principal Perry. She's I mean, she can worm her way into any situation and worm her way out of it. And whether she's lying or not, which she lies a lot. She's got so many different career experiences that she'd be jack of all trades. So I think that'd be the pair.
Enough said. Favorite actor to work with, live action or animated?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm not going to say anyone in Naruto because we don't work together because we're done.
Right.
So, wow. That's really hard.
That's what I'm here for.
I've enjoyed working the cast of Not Dead Yet, but I don't know him that well.
Right.
Go with TJ Williams, who played Dooley on Lab Rats.
Awesome.
He was just fun, and the guy can improvise. He was a kid. He was quick. He could, I would try and throw him for a loop, and it didn't work. He just bang it right back to me. So I'm going to go with him for right now. But, of course, I loved working with my friends I've worked with, Wayne Wilderson being one of them. He's big time. He was on Veep. He was on Seinfeld, a lot of commercials. We've been in a few things together.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah.
He's in my... In fact, he's on one of my favorite episodes of Seinfeld, the cake episode.
Yeah.
He's
and
awesome.
He wasn't available for an episode because he was shooting a pilot.
Oh, really?
And they cast another African-American guy, and they just called him Other Wayne.
Yes, exactly. And they brought him. I think the other episode they brought them both in. It was the cake episode. They brought them because they brought
them both in.
Right. It was one of them was birthday, and then the other one ended up having one of them was a get well birthday cake, and the other was a going away birthday cake or something of that nature. And Elaine was she was fed up.
Wayne and Other Wayne.
Yes.
It's that's so indicative of all the selfishness of that show. It's funny.
All right, we're gonna get foodie here. So, me and you, we love food.
Yes.
We'll be loving food again very soon.
Yeah.
Favorite food you ate last year?
I had a steak in Jacksonville, Florida, downtown.
Mm-hmm.
There's a strip of restaurants. We were staying on the outskirts, so my Uber ride was quite pricey.
Yep.
That steak was like the best steak I've had in my life. And in New Orleans, I went to a recommendation of a guy that worked at James Beard award-winning restaurants. And again, it wasn't on any of the main lists or the main drag, and he and his wife/business partner, it was amazing food. We sat we could look in on the kitchen when they were cooking. It wasn't very big. It kind of wasn't mentioned in a lot of reviews because it was pretty new. It was amazing.
Okay, so in hindsight, is what you're telling me is that I need to stay away from steak places when you come down here when we go out. So
I eat anything.
Because I don't want to compare it to it, and then it doesn't live up.
Well, the last place you picked, the Indian place, was delicious.
Wait, it was a fusion restaurant. It was the Sampan Fusion restaurant, right?
Sampan Fusion, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
but
those rabbit.
I thought we ordered some curries and stuff too, right?
Oh yeah, because they had a lot of that in there. It was the only place I ever ate Brussels sprout. You could tell. I'm not a Brussels sprout fan at all, but when you make your food that good that I actually enjoy eating it, it's sold, and we end up going back.
Yeah, I know. Your wife.
We went back, and the menus changed, but it's still awesome. So that's a contender. But we'll look up because, like I said, last time you've been here was 2018, and Philly's changed since you've gone. There's a lot more. There are so many. They're trying to make it look like a little Times Square now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A tiny Times Square is what I call it. But there's a lot more food options down there. So
again, I'm up for anything.
All right. No, yeah. Wait a minute. That's a good question. Real quick. What don't you like eating? What is
I don't like squid ink pasta.
Okay, I've never had that, and I'll never try that.
It's black squid ink, and one reason I don't like it is because I was in Italy for a surprise birthday for Lisa for a long time ago, and I got sick there with a cold for a few days, and then so nothing, I could taste anything. So we went to this really nice restaurant when I was feeling better.
Right.
And I'd order it off the menu, and I was like, okay, yeah. And he was like, oh, okay. And they brought it out. And here's this plate of black pasta. I was just like, oh, I can't eat this. I had to walk out of the restaurant to finish your meal, which was delicious.
Right.
I thought I was going to get sick. But anyway, I don't like that. I don't like snails. I've had them.
Okay.
What else do I not like? Oh, sweetbreads of any kind, that kind of.
Is that right?
Yeah, like, meaning when they do like haggis and God, no.
You missed out one particular thing that you don't like, and I'm surprised you didn't mention it. Anything pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice. Yeah.
I don't understand. People troll you all the time about that every year. I love it. It is hilarious.
Yeah, they start really early, like in August sometimes.
It is the best. But that's interesting. Yeah, I agree with you on the black ink thing. It's like I'm not eating anything where when I get my check, I get to sign it using the damn sauce that I used to No, I'm good.
That's a good point. I also don't like. I can have beef carpaccio, but steak tartare makes me It just I can't do that.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement with our tastes and our preferences and all that stuff. Yeah. All right. Best lesson you learned in your career?
Well, I think always keep working at doing your career. For the first couple of years I lived in LA, I did 3 things a day for years. And no matter what it was, I had to do 3. Even if I wasn't feeling well, I did 3 things a day. Back then I was sending a postcard, watching something you wouldn't watch, something you're not a fan of, like maybe like preschool cartoons.
Yeah.
Why would I watch it? I don't have a child.
Yeah.
But I auditioned for that, so I should know it. I'll watch sitcoms that I
love that.
Stuff like that. And I think just keep working hard at working hard. And for me, I'm always doing, which just reminds me, I have to fill out some paperwork. I always, I volunteer to do readings with these kids with charity that bring theater to kids in schools and in
that's awesome.
urban camps. I work with the Unusual Suspects, feel strongly about it.
Right.
Readings of plays that they've written. They're all excited because you come in and do their words. And I do student films. I'm doing one right now. I finished it. I just forgot to do the paperwork.
Right.
And I would say at least once or twice a year I do a project like that. Or you do readings for people that just need you to read a play.
Right.
So none of it's money based. It's all about.
It's the passion and the craft. And
also giving young people a chance.
Which you do so much. And I appreciate the most, is that you are, there's always been the talk, and, when I was in school, studying like, philosophy or psychology, there was always the talk about, is something truly altruistic?
Yeah.
And then I met you.
Well, during the pandemic, like you were saying, it was hard. I ended up doing a lot of appearances on Zoom to my friends who were teachers going bonkers.
Yeah.
Like, I know I did at least 6 or more. I did a whole class for some grad students in universities. And I didn't get paid for that. They were just going bonkers because they were like, they had to fill all this time. And it was very hard to get their attention after being on Zoom for a year. And I just remember doing it for college graduate students all the way down to elementary school students. Wow. I did a bunch of those that first year of COVID.
You truly are the Hokage.
I don't know about
that. But here's the thing. What I liked about what you said there is that you did not only the things that you like to do, but the things that you don't like to do. And that reminds me of when I was in, college. And in order for me, before I even knew that I was on the dean's list, I was just killing it. And I knew that I need to put in just as much the same effort as I do the classes I know I can master, as much as the ones that I don't. And even though I don't like it, I need to put in that same effort. And then my sister, who was like part of the administration or faculty or stuff with the school and everything, she calls me back because I guess she got the readings and everything, told me, do you know that you're on the dean's list? I'm like, what?
Whoa!
I'm like, what now?
That's super cool that you got it from your sister.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Like, it's a long history of things. I put my family through a lot. So the fact that, I'm doing what I'm doing now, even being here with you, it speaks volumes of my journey.
Yeah. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. I certainly was not on the dean's list. I'll tell you that much.
It was my goodness, the things I could write a book. I could definitely write a book. And speaking of that, like the last question I would have is, what are you most grateful for?
I'm grateful to have a career. I know a lot of talented people who don't. Mm-hmm. And through a variety of circumstances, they either couldn't because they couldn't go to the next level, or they couldn't move to a market that would be supportive.
Right.
You know, and there are so many actors I know that are so good that aren't working. So I'm thankful I'm working. I'm thankful I have my partner, Lisa, because she's supportive.
I am grateful for that.
I could not have done it without her. That's a fact. I couldn't have moved here without her.
Right.
And I mean, I'm really thankful for the people that took chances on me. My agents when people go off on those lists, it's because, Viola Davis was out working for 20 years before people knew her name as a household.
Yes.
Right? And I love when Brad Pitt was discovered through like newcomer, and it's like he had been trying to be on the radar for a long time. Like when you're discovered like Miley Cyrus, but she came from Billy Ray Cyrus, right?
Right.
So but there's a big difference between like Selena Gomez, who was discovered and is amazing and multi-talented. Like, I love her. Like, she's vulnerable but multi-talented. She's human. She didn't have a leg up, not in the beginning. She just worked hard, and she had some, given talent. It's no matter how hard you work, if you're not really good at it, you also probably aren't going to make it unless I see some movies where there's some pretty crappy actors around. I'm like, wow, they must, I don't know how they got this, but good on them. They get that money.
Well, speaking of grateful, I couldn't be more grateful than to be right here with you, to get to know you and Lisa. And I am beyond grateful for that. Like I told you, my road has been a very challenging one, and just the fact that I am here talking with you and friends with you and Lisa is a testament of my road, and knowing that I've gone to the right direction by getting a chance to meet angels like you two. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the opportunities that you've provided.
Well, thanks, Dex. Thanks for being my friend. And I'm going to get a couple more people for you this season for sure. Maybe very quickly, I hope.
Not a problem. Not a problem. I'm more than welcome to bring them on.
You're so good at it. So keep it up. And I'll see you in, what is it, June? Yep. All right. I guess we both better start exercising a little more for our eating. I
was on Peloton this morning, so I'm already set. The minute I found out that you're coming, I'm like, oh.
Well, I do, believe it or not, I do yoga now, which is crazy. But
that is awesome.
And it's not pretty.
No, my wife has started too, and the fact that she now knows that you do it, like she like, oh, I can't. now I gotta do it.
I just do it like once a week. Then I try and do stuff during the week by myself.
Just ease your way in.
Yeah, it's hard when you're old and out of shape. But I mean,
you can't be twisted like a pretzel in the first week.
Oh my God, no. I mean, our class was a few nights ago, and I'm like, wow, the arches on my feet hurt.
Right, I bet. My goodness,
thank you so much.
No, it's been an honor and a pleasure and a gift. Thank you both so much. And before we go, if you got anything else to plug right now, by all means, go at it.
I mean, all the conventions, catch me on Twitter for as long as that lasts. I'm on TikTok, but not frequently. And I'm on Instagram, which I'll try and update a little bit more.
Right.
Twitter's just so much easier than Instagram for me. I don't know why, but but I will update it. And just check out Royal Crackers Sunday night. On Adult Swim, and the next day on HBO worldwide. Yeah.
All right, folks. Thank you, Molly, again. It has been awesome. And I hope you guys enjoyed this very special episode of Talk Time Live exclusive. On behalf of myself and the one and only Maile Flanagan, all I got to say is learn to let go, live life, and love all things anime, comics, movies, and games. This is A.C.M.G. presents Talk Time Live. We are out of here. Take care and believe it.
Believe it.